Hey everybody, welcome to Pop Culture Philosophers. I'm Rockin' Robbie Billups, and today it's Movie Monday, and we're going to be talking about Ant-Man and the Wasp. That's right, everybody. Welcome to Movie Monday here on Pop Culture Philosophers. I am Rockin' Robbie Billups. This is Brooks the Magnificent, that is. Anyway, thank you guys for checking out the video. Here on Movie Monday, we like to talk about movies. And of course, we just had a new MCU movie.
So that's why we call it Movie Monday.
Exactly, and it comes out on Monday.
Oh,
It all makes sense now. Anyway, it's just me and Brooks going solo tonight because unfortunately, Jelani couldn't watch this movie in time. But he is watching it, and we will do maybe a special little thing sharing his opinion. Maybe not. Anyway, Ant-Man and the Wasp.
If there's demand for it, I guess.
The sequel to Ant-Man, and we started this whole Movie Monday thing off with doing the MCU rewatch. And Ant-Man was not overall one of our favorite films at all, right? But this is a sequel to Ant-Man. But this movie, I adore. I love this movie. I thought it was so good, man. It had a great script, had a great pace. It just kept going and going, had amazing action sequences. It was really funny, had great characterization, great drama, great performances. I loved everything about this movie. I really did. A great villain, a great wrap-up, a great third act. So funny. All the best parts of the first Ant-Man film, which were mostly about the endearing performances from the cast. Yeah. Like, all that is just, like, here and more. And all the stuff I didn't like all the, like, mixed match of styles and things like that, all that's gone. This is a very cohesive, very fun, very exciting, very thrilling adventure film, and I enjoyed it so much. So I want to know what my colleague, Brooks the Magnificent, thinks about this movie. What do you think about Ant-Man and the Wasp, homie?
It was good.
It was good. Elaborate.
Yeah, it was, I mean, it's another Marvel movie, and, that keeps sending the hits out, man. And
yes, they do.
Keep knocking it out of the park, and they did it again with this one. There's nothing I can complain about in this movie. I wasn't bored. It was fun. I laughed a lot. It had everything you expect from a Marvel movie was there.
Yeah,
and it's still good.
Absolutely. Of course, Paul Rudd returns as Scott Lang, and I loved Paul Rudd's performance in the last movie and in Civil War. And it's just as good in this one. Yeah. Like he's not a problem in this film at all. Like he was a great part in the first one. He's even better in the second one. I love him so much. What about Paul Rudd in the film?
I think he was great.
Yeah, so funny.
And I think he's getting a lot more character development in this movie, even more so, really, kind of in a way than he did in the first one. Yeah. And he's a charming son of a bitch. Absolutely.
I'm going to warn you from this point forward, there will be spoilers for the movie, so if you don't want those spoilers, you should watch the movie, come back and watch the rest of this video. Evangeline Lilly returning as the Wasp. She definitely has more of a role in this film. I think she did fantastic. I love the spotlight on the Wasp. This is almost the Wasp's movie. Yeah. It's just as much her movie as it is Scott's movie, and that's one of my favorite things about it, is that it does this perfect balance between both of their stories, both of their arcs, both of their journeys.
Yeah, they don't step on each other's toes.
Absolutely. And you think they could go in the typical cliche route of like the whole Sam and Diane thing that we like to talk about, but they kind of like keep it more grounded. They keep it more real. Like, she is trying to find her mother. The whole gist of this movie, obviously, is that they're after Janet Van Dyne, the original Wasp, played by Michelle Pfeiffer in this film. She was lost in the quantum realm. We found that out in the first Ant-Man film. Scott went quantum in that film, so of course now they know that they can get there and come back. So they're on the journey for Janet. A lot of similarities there to the end of Bendis' run on Avengers.
Yeah,
when he brought back Wasp. She even had that spear thing.
Yeah, it was right? Like when she was stuck in like the microverse.
Yes, absolutely.
That's what I was thinking when I was watching that.
We'll get to that in just a second, but Lily did a fantastic job in this movie. I thought she really nailed the role and gave it the oomph that it needed. What do you think?
Oh yeah, I thought the Wasp was really good in this movie. Like, especially the action stuff with her. Like, they do so many cool things with her. Yes. Like, she's just zapping motherfuckers and shit. Yes. She just throws something and then it turns huge and smashes into somebody. The Pez dispenser. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
The cars, like, turn the little car, you hear it go zzz.
Oh, the car thing cracked me up, and I loved it that they're in that Hot Wheels like wheel thing. I had one of those. Like I think it was crazy.
I remember those.
That was so cool, and like the building and just it's such a fun caper. You know, the first one's kind of like billed as a heist film, but it doesn't really come across as a heist film. I think in this one they understand we got the characters, everybody knows who they are and what's going on. So now we can just make an MCU fun film. Because of all the production issues and how long it took to make Ant-Man, it just didn't feel like it felt like really forced into the MCU at times. And it never really provided that heist film to me. And this one doesn't, it's not a heist film at all, but it's so much fun. Yeah. It is so funny. The dialogue is so funny, so witty. Cassie, Scott Lang's daughter, she was great in the first film. She's more adorable and just outlandishly awesome in this film. She gets
a little more screen time.
She gets a lot more screen time. What is that actress's name? What is that actor's name? That young lady. What is her name? I'm going to look it up. Keep talking while I look it up. Abby Ryder Forston is the person who plays Cassie. But I got my phone out because right quick, I want to talk real quick about Hannah John Kamen. Hannah John Kamen played Ava, the ghost. One of our problems with MCU films has historically been the lack of a good, solid villain with great motivation that's actually threatening, right, to the hero, right? And the fact that they kill these villains in silly ways and just write them off, and they never really live up to their full potential, like Red Skull, for instance, things like that, right? Malekith, right? That's one, for instance. There's a lot of these villains in the MCU. Mandarin, even, Mandarin, for real. As much as we like the twist in Iron Man 3, Mandarin didn't live up to his potential, but Ghost lives beyond the potential. Ghost is a very secondary villain character in the Marvel Universe with a really cool power. He phases through shit. And in the comic books, it's the dude, and this is the dude's daughter in the movie. And so
so the scientist is
the original Ghost, right? And so the daughter's there, and it makes sense. And I just love the performance. Like, she is brilliant in this movie. She really adds some layers. Now, it's not quite as deep as Thanos or Killmonger, but it's got more layers than Red Skull and Malekith and
especially when
Mandarin and all the other ones.
The villain of the first Ant-Man movie.
Yes, because the worst
part, she has
a
lot more depth than
Cross is the worst part of that Ant-Man film, and they solved that. It's got a great villain, and spoilers.
And her motivation, I like her motivation.
Her motivation makes total sense.
Because she just wants to survive. She's not like being. She's not like greedy or trying to hurt anybody. She just is trying to find a way to fix herself.
And finds a road to redemption at the end. Yeah. And I love that ending, how they don't kill her, they don't wrap her up.
I figured they were going to do that when they managed to get Jen out, that she was somehow going to have power.
And also think about this. This is one of my favorite moments of this movie and her arc as a character, Ava, is that she has the opportunity, I'm going to coerce Scott to do this because I'm going after his daughter. Mm-hmm. And Bill Foster, who's played by Lawrence Fishburne, we'll get to that in just a second, tells her, you do this, we're not in it. And she doesn't do it.
Yeah.
Like in any other movie, they go after the daughter.
Yeah.
And they make it a point that, no, she doesn't because she respects Bill Foster that much.
Yeah.
Let's talk about him. Lawrence Fishburne.
Foster, that's a cool idea to have him in there.
Yes, because, let's be honest. Bill Foster, as beloved as he is, he died sadly in the first Civil War comic book. He was the original Black Goliath.
He was the only casualty of Civil War.
Originally called Black Goliath. We just know him as Goliath as well. He was a giant man guy. He was like the second giant man, basically. Yeah. I guess maybe after Hawkeye, maybe the 2.5, whatever.
Yeah, he was a Goliath.
He was a
Hawkeye was Goliath.
Well, but he had his own series in the 70s for a while, and he was kind of a big deal. And then he faded out of memory, and then they killed him in Civil War. And then there was a new Goliath. I think it was like his brother or his nephew or something like that. Anyway, so they used Goliath, and just like they do Hank Pym, he's aged. It was back in the day where he did his Goliath experiments and all that stuff. And he's also kind of the villain. A little bit. The villain a little bit. And as soon as they started going into it, I was like, the only scene that they've showed in the trailer is the scene where they go to him for help.
Yeah.
Surely you don't cast Lawrence Fishburne for one scene.
Yeah.
And so I was like, is he going to be connected to the Ghost?
I figured he'd show back up again in some capacity, but I didn't really expect him to.
Yeah.
Have turned out to have betrayed him.
But one of the things that's great about the villains in this film is how nuanced it is and how layered it is and how it's not necessarily that they're villains. Like, Bill Foster's not a villain. He's not a bad guy. He's trying to do right things.
Yeah.
And he even prevents Ghost from doing the wrong thing to do what he believes is the right thing, which is to cure her condition. That's everything. And of course he has a right to not like Hank Pym. Because Hank Pym's not a good guy.
A lot of people don't like Hank Pym in this.
Yes, and that's a good reflection.
It was he's such a grumpy, it seems like he was such a grumpy control freak.
We feel like in the first Ant-Man movie that they glossed over all the negativity in Hank Pym's comic book mythology.
Yeah, because like.
But in this one, they bring it to you, but they also give a very loving relationship between him and Janet.
Yeah.
And I love that because there is a true love there. It gets bogged down by all the off again and on again and you know, domestic violence that's been prevalent in that relationship.
That kind of ruined the character for a long time.
Yeah, it really did. And so I like that they had a very true romance in here. So real quick, Lawrence Fishburne. You like his performance? Because I love it. I mean, Lawrence Fishburne makes any movie better. Like, right? I mean, he just makes any movie better. And like, that's how I feel. Like, if you put Lawrence Fishburne in Geely, I'd watch it. I would watch it. I've never watched it.
It'd be like the best movie ever.
Yeah, I'd watch it. I would at least watch it. Right? So, Michael Douglas, great in this movie. Right? He's kind of more of a secondary character, but the movie is still a lot about his legacy. Yeah. He's got great one-liners. Him and Scott have a great dynamic. It's really fun. Michelle Pfeiffer as Janet Van Dyne. Perfect. Very small bit in this movie, but everything that is so into the character, the way she acts. Yeah. And I just love this. I love this.
I love it when Scott had to,
when she was taking over Scott's spot.
Like he was playing like her.
Yes. So
very
fun.
Weird and funny.
Oh man, so fun. And I love their performance, and I think this is one of my favorite versions in media about Janet and Hank's relationship. I think Janet and Hank are done so well in this film. Yeah. And I really think that's awesome. I think it's probably the best they've ever been done. So you like both of them in the role? I think they did great?
I like that they made Janet, you know, a scientist too, instead of, you know, just a
fashion designer, socialite
like she was in the comics.
Yeah. Well, it was like 1962 or whatever.
It's like those stories just would not work.
No. So it's a nice updating. And they really they nail that relationship, but they also nail the inherent assholeness.
Yeah,
assholishness.
Like you can see why
like
a lot of these scientists don't like Hank Pym because, you know, he's such a grumpy guy and like, you know, he's always got his head in his work and like he doesn't care about people's feelings so much.
Yeah. But we love Ant-Man. It seems like we really like the cast. We really like the performances. I love the story. I love how it ties in to what happened in Civil War. Yeah. And I love how it ties into what's happening in Infinity War.
I like those scenes where they're at the school and he's stuck in it's like child size.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
And she's like, oh, what if Cap could see you now?
Well, yeah, and I love all of it, you know, like because it starts off and Hank and Hope are not down.
Yeah, it's like they haven't even talked to each other since.
Yeah, and it's the way it fits in is nice, and it's just such a well-written movie and very well executed. Peyton Reed, the director, did a fantastic job. He had the unenviable job of coming in on the first one and taking over a project that had been in development for years and kind of finishing it, right? So this is, I feel like, is truly his vision. I feel like he just did a great job. The writers, whoever wrote this movie, did a fantastic job. Amazing script, great performances. I'm loving this movie so much. The MCU Phase 3 continues to be the best phase in the MCU. Yeah, in our opinions, at least. I mean, seriously.
I think we'll have to see about the next phase, but I mean, so far, I'd say...
Yeah, we still got 2 movies to go. Captain Marvel's next. Of course, the post-credit scene, let's talk about that real quick. We all anticipated this from the moment, like, Infinity War ended. We were like, I think Ant-Man and Wasp is going to be like, we're thinking it's going to be like a light movie. It's going to be really fun, right? And then it's going to like tie in at the end because like Wasp is going to disappear in dust or something. Well, they one-upped us just a little bit because now not only did OG Wasp and OG Ant-Man go away in dust, it happened while Scott was in the quantum realm.
Yeah. He's just like they send him in here to explore the quantum realm.
Yes.
And then he's trying to get back and like they're gone.
Yeah, and this movie is so fun, and I like how it really ties a lot into what Nick Spencer did on his Ant-Man run, including the security solution company that he's running. Michael Pena playing Luis. Hilarious again. Yeah. Hilarious again.
The Russian guy was really funny.
Oh, the Russian guy T.I.'s in it. They're so funny. The Baba Yaga.
Yeah.
All right. Being a Hellboy fan, I know what that was. So that was really funny, and everything is just. There were moments where we were just laughing nonstop. Oh, and let us not forget. Walter Coggins is also in here as another villain who's after after Hank Pym's lab and all this.
Technology dealer.
Yeah, right. Like he's hilarious. I love him from Justified. Do you ever watch Justified?
I never did watch Justified.
Dude, you gotta watch Justified. It's got Timothy dreamy ass elephant in it, and it's got Walter Coggins, and it's like a modern day Western, and that's not what this video's about.
Yeah, I've heard about it.
But you need to watch Justified, homie, because that's one of the best shows of the last 30 years, in my opinion. Anyway, Ant-Man the Wasp, Walter Coggins is awesome in it. I love that moment when Ghost just shows up and everybody in that room just freaks out because, like, of course they would, right? Anyway, if you've seen it, you know what we're talking about. But definitely, if you haven't seen it and you've watched this video, you should totally see this. This movie is awesome. If you like the original Ant-Man, you're going to love this one. If you didn't like the original Ant-Man, I think you're going to love this one. Yeah. I'm eager to know what Jelani thinks, because he hates Ant-Man. Yeah. But I bet he's going to love this movie, because it's so good.
I think he will, too.
Yeah, so how much do we dig it? Let's give it, how much do you dig Ant-Man and the Wasp? Out of 5 possible you digs, that's what we do here. What do you rank? What do you rate Ant-Man and the Wasp?
I give it a fantastic 4.
A fantastic 4. 4 you digs. Very high. I remember you rated Iron Man a 4. Yeah. A fantastic 4 you digs. Why a 4? Why is it so good?
I mean, it's
but
really,
not perfect.
Yeah, it's good, but I mean, you compare it on the scale of like some of the other MCU movies.
Winter Soldier, Guardians.
It's not as good as those. But I mean, it's still really good.
And it really held up post Infinity War, which we were all worried about. Because we're like, how are you going to like do an Ant-Man movie after
everybody's
Infinity
dead?
War? Right? But yeah, right. So 4.
Mad Max Ant-Man.
Yeah,
I don't like a little tiny convoy coming through the desert.
I don't remember what you rated Ant-Man, but that's definitely way higher. Probably 3.
Yeah,
something like that. I think I went like 2 or 2.5 on that. But on this one, I'm doing the same as you, 4. A fantastic 4 you digs. 4 you digs because this movie is great. Now, it's not the greatest, right? Like, there are deeper movies in the MCU, right? Yeah. But this movie is incredibly funny. Yeah. It may not be as funny as something like Guardians 1 and 2 or Thor Ragnarok.
It's like slightly below that.
But it also has a lot of fun adventure. It has a lot of fun adventure. So it's the perfect balance of this Marvel Cinematic Universe feel of humor, adventure, and a little bit of realness. And it just balances it so perfectly, and I just love it. Brilliant performances, a great script, a fantastic script. I really want to highlight how perfect the script is in this movie. It's flawless, man. But 4 you digs for an average of 4. 4.
A solid Fantastic 4.
A solid Fantastic 4 for the Astonishing Ant-Man and the Unstoppable Wasp.
I used to call her the Winsome Wasp.
Yeah, but now she's unstoppable. Anyway. So, thank you guys so much for checking out the video. Let us know what you thought about Ant-Man and the Wasp in the comments down below. And how many you digs do you give it? How much do you dig it? So, thank you guys for watching the video. Please do check us out at popculturephilosophers.com for podcasts and a whole lot of other stuff. And be here next week. We're going to continue our Spider-Man movies rewatch with Amazing Spider-Man. We regret this decision, but we'll be here next week to talk about Amazing Spider-Man. Starring Andrew Garfield, Emma Stone, directed by Mark Webb. It's got the lizard dude in it, all that stuff. Yeah, all that jazz, right? We'll be talking about that next week. So be here for that. We will definitely be here. Anyway, I've been Rockin' Robbie Billups. This is
Brooks.
Please do like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for joining the PCP Army over at Facebook. Look it up if you don't know what I'm talking about. And you dig? All right, you ready, Brooks?
Yeah.
First 2-man movie Monday, we got it.